you have witnessed the decline of masculinity and femininity in America, and I think you attributed that decline to something that people have not connected the dots, and that is bad parenting. What has changed, and why do you think it's changed so?
Feminization of Western culture is what's really changed, and the way that we raise our boys and our girls. We have since the sexual revolution, since I usually peg it at about 1965, the end of the nuclear family era. Right around that point is when Western society collectively decided that we are going to prioritize the gynocracy, or the gynocentrist social order. Why is it that the American workplace looks more like a kindergarten classroom than an actual workplace? Well, the reason for that is because we have put women into the American workplace. So when women get in there, they say, well, you guys have been running this business for a long time. We need preschool here. We need childcare. We need to enjoy our experience. So what happens is, systematically, progressively, women will come into what used to be a male space, which is the male space of the American workplace. They come in and they assimilate it and they convert it to what works for them. So the priority is not about profit. It is about the experience of working there. And when you put women into that corporate environment, and what they do is they come in, and it ceases to be about a dominance hierarchy. It ceases to be a male space. So the old, like back in the 60s and into the early 70s, companies were built by men. There was mostly men working. Women were not in the workforce. And so later on, after the sexual revolution, women started becoming more and more embedded into the workforce. And so you have these old school companies, like Gillette's a really good example of this. Gillette's been around for a long time. It was a male, like Procter and Gamble and Gillette was certainly a male space, or male dominated company. Women come in there and they do, they change things up, and they say, you know what, we need to make men better men, and we need to get pink hats on them and change them into what we want them to be. And so what happens is, those male spaces were idealistically, ostensibly, they're infiltrated, but they used to be about a meritocracy. So because men tend to be more dominant, it's hierarchical based, right? We're about merit. So if Jim does a better job than Joe, then he's going to get more money than Joe, right? That's how we work it. Women come in there and they want to make it a collective, right? They want to come in and they want to say, well, now that more women are here in this space,
we need to make it more inclusive.
We need to make it more inclusive. We need childcare. We need maternity leave. We need all of these things. And some of this might be great ideas.
But the reality is they're leeching. They're just they're doing what they do. Look, at the end of the day, are you going to hire a guy who is going to be healthy and work and no hormonal fluctuations every month and has zero chance of getting pregnant and being out for 9 months and then losing progress in the field? Because you worked in an industry where you have to keep on the times. And if you take a 9-month gap, from social media, you take a 9-month gap from technology, dude, like that, the world has blown past you, and then you're becoming a liability. And they don't, and when you say that, then they're like, oh, well, you're just a sexist, selfish male. I'm like, listen, this company didn't get built to the point where it is now for people not working hard. This company was built by hard work. Anything was built by hard work. And typically women like to come in after everything's cush, everything's all set up, and now they can be like, oh, it's all, kind of like equivalent to what Richard Cooper says. It's like they just hang out at the finish line and they choose the winner.
They don't really want to be there. That's the thing, is like, for as much as we want to convince women that they need to be strong, independent women, and they want to go in and be part of the American workforce and get, like, Aaron Clarey wrote this really great essay about the American corporate culture, and how he was writing about another article about how women are going to dominate American work culture. And Aaron says, let them have it. Yep. They deserve it. Give it to them, because you know what? That American work culture is being left behind. And it's being left behind because it's been feminized, because women have come in there and they've come into what was previously a male space. They change things up, and it's not about the actual company. It's not about making money. It's not about, profit margins. It's not about any of that kind of stuff. It's about making their experience at work more comfortable for them, because they don't really want to be there. Men tend to be hierarchical. They tend to be more interested in things. They tend to be more interested in merit-based capitalism. Women tend to be more interested in collectivism, because that's the way we evolved. Women were the gatherers. They had to rely on each other for child rearing, for protection, for food. That's why women can form networks, like social networks, and they have a higher facility for communication than men do, because they evolved for something that was different than men did. Men had to hunt. We had to go out and find things. We had to figure it out. We had to affect our will on the world. And if you did it better than the other guy, the chicks back at the gatherers, or the chicks back at the tribe, wanted to fuck that guy. So however better you were, like you're more competent than Joe, we're going to say, you're the leader, dude. Joe, tell us what we should do. Go hunt the mammoth. Okay, we're going to hunt the mammoth. Here's a better way to do it. Those kinds of things. Whoever had the better ideas, whoever was stronger, the physical prowess and mental prowess were things that could, were based on that meritocracy. Well, take all of that, take that human dynamic. Women are the collectivist gatherers, men are the hunter, individualist, capitalists, and you form businesses and organizations, which basically are tribes. And so you say, okay, this is going to be our male space. This is our corporation. This is our company, a company of people. This is going to be us, and these are the rules here. It's based on male meritocracy. Women say, no, that's sexist. We want to come in. They come in, and they don't like what they see. They don't like the experience, so they change it to fit the way that they are. That's why you have those. That's pretty much that in a nutshell, and in corporate society, that is what's happening on a larger scale in society, which is we masculinize women and we feminize men, and then we get into these institutions where we have to cooperate together, and women realize they don't want to be in men's space, and men realize at some point that they don't want to be in women's space, because they're not meant to be there. We're not evolved for that. Our brains aren't structured that way. Our psychologies, our mental firmware is not meant to do those things, but we insist.
What they don't talk about is after a woman, racks up a shitload of debt, bangs a bunch of dudes, becomes a borderline alcoholic. Let's say 35 rolls around. Now she wants to settle down, but there's just one big problem when that happens. It's no more eggs in that carton, baby.
No more eggs.
No more eggs, man. Yeah, or they're like this. They're all stale. They're all brown and stale. I find extremely hilarious, right? Is how women, they will say, I don't need no man. I don't need this. I don't need that. But come 28. Oh, of course they do. Come 28, 29, 30, 31, those years start speeding up. And what happens? They start getting bitter and angry. They all want to get married. They all want children, and they realize they've got to lie, but they realize it too late. And now
I think that if there's a blue pill for guys, there's also a blue pill for women, and that blue pill is, first of all, the fempowerment narrative, feminism, and basically the lie that women can have it all. And the reason why that's so seductive to women is because, first of all, women they prioritize emotion before reason. Men tend to have the natural proclivity to prioritize reason before emotion. That's why we're naturally like that. But we're living right now in what I call a feminine correct society. So to be correct, to be politically correct, to be socially acceptable, you have to think like a woman. Women's experience defines Western culture right now, and I don't think that we really appreciate that. So what happens is women get this blue pill, and the blue pill is this: you need to be a strong, independent woman, and the prime directive of that is you never do anything for the express pleasure of a man. You never do anything that would please a man. You don't need a man. You don't need a man. And so if you don't need a man, what that says to women is that feminism and women themselves are self-sufficient. They are self-satisfying, self-gratifying. Everything begins and ends with women. Everything is just, and so what they end up becoming is these autonomous things. So like I'm sure you've heard this before. Women will say, well, we don't need men, but we want men. Like, well, how does that work out? Well, because the beta buck side of hypergamy is already taken care of for you, either by you having a job or you being more self-sufficient, being an independent woman. The want part is, I want an alpha guy to bang me. That's what they want, because they don't here, when a woman says, I don't need a man, add this: I don't need a beta man. I don't need a blue pill man. I don't need a provider man anymore. I want a guy who's alpha, who's going to take me 3 ways to Tuesday. That's what she wants. So, but what happens is that mentality, the fempowerment narrative, teaches women that they are self-contained, self-fulfilling things, and that they don't need a man, and that eventually, and we facilitate that. So, like, you can freeze your eggs, you can go to the bank if you want to. So if you haven't met Mr. Right by 38, don't worry, girl, we've got you covered. Your benefits package at this company, because women have come in there and demanded it, is we froze your eggs for you. So you can go and fertilize those eggs, carry one to term, pick a guy from our catalog of sperm donors and pick that guy, because they're never going to go, they don't care about the intelligence. They look for the guy who's like the freaking bodybuilder or the water polo player or whatever. They look for that
still
guy.
Apes at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's statistically proven, is that women don't select for intelligence. They select for physical prowess. So if they see a guy who's good looking and has some muscularity to him, though, that guy is going to be the one that is going to have his selected, and not the guy who's like this. Jeff Bezos is not going to be selected. I'm sorry to say.
They want strong babies. You can't, I mean, how long can you deny reality before it catches up with you?